something doesn't add up. In one of the most documented conflicts in modern history, with satellites overhead and cameras everywhere, there are still moments in Gaza where the record goes quiet, not unclear, not blurry, quiet, and when information disappears in real time, during a war watched by the entire world, it raises a disturbing question. Is everything that matters actually being reported? Or are some truths slipping through the cracks, unnoticed, unexplained, and unexamined? To understand what international reports don't fully explain, we first need to look at how the story of Gaza is usually told. Headlines focus on numbers, timelines, official statements, and daily updates. Airstrikes, ceasefires, casualty figures, diplomatic success itself. Journalists and investigators do not move freely in Gaza. Movement is restricted, communications are unstable, and entire areas can become unreachable for days. During those gaps, events still happen, decisions are made, lives change, but when no independent observers are present, the global narrative freezes. Later reports may summarize what occurred, but summaries cannot capture uncertainty, fear, or contradictions on the ground. What happens in those silent windows is rarely revisited in detail, leaving permanent blind spots in the historical record. Then there is the issue of verification. International reports often emphasize that figures are according to local sources or pending confirmation. These phrases sound cautious, but they also signal something deeper. In a conflict where trust is fractured and information is weaponized, verification becomes a battlefield of its own. Conflicting numbers circulate, corrections quietly replace earlier claims, yet the initial versions often travel further and faster than later clarifications. What lingers in public memory may not be what investigators eventually determine, and that gap is rarely explored. Another layer that receives limited attention is the political pressure surrounding reporting itself. International organizations operate within diplomatic realities. Funding, access, and future cooperation all depend on maintaining fragile relationships. This does not mean reports are false, but it raises an uncomfortable question. Are there details that are softened, delayed, or framed cautiously to avoid escalation? When language becomes carefully neutral in the face of extreme human suffering, some truths may be technically present but emotionally muted, their full weight never quite reaching the audience. There are also stories that never become reports at all, individual experiences that do not fit cleanly into official categories, incidents that are difficult to classify, assign responsibility for, or investigate fully. In fast-moving conflicts, complexity is often the first casualty. Events that cannot be quickly explained risk being sidelined. Over time, they fade, not because they were resolved, but because attention moved on. What remains is a simplified version of reality, easier to process, but incomplete. As the conflict continues, a troubling pattern emerges. The world feels informed, yet unsettled, updated, yet uncertain. International reports provide structure, but not closure. They answer many questions, but leave others untouched. What exactly happened during communication blackouts? Which investigations stalled, and why? Which conclusions were provisional but became permanent in public perception? These are not accusations, they are gaps, and gaps, especially in matters of war, have consequences. When future historians look back at Gaza, they will not only study what was reported, but what was missing, the pauses, the revisions, the unanswered questions buried beneath official language. The most unsettling possibility is not that the truth is hidden, but that it is fragmented, scattered across reports, testimonies, and silences that were never fully connected. And until those fragments are examined together, the story of Gaza may remain incomplete, not because no one looked, but because some parts were never fully explained.